Yeah, I spend most of my days on a camera, so for work, so I'm pretty comfortable kind of just talking through meetings.
Man, you'd be surprised. Like that's actually like a huge skill. Like just to be able to talk to a camera comfortably.
Yeah, yeah. It was a learning curve, when everything shut down and we went to kind of this remote model. There was definitely people were getting comfortable on the camera, talking. Even today, we keep our cameras off and then we'll turn it on if we're talking directly, mainly just from a bandwidth standpoint. But yeah, it was a little awkward at first for people, including myself, just to get comfortable, you know, day to day. Even though it's the same people you worked with for years in person, it's still that kind of that weird feeling. Okay, I'm in my house and you can kind of see what's around me. And
Hmm. Okay,
yeah.
that's what do you do for a living?
I work for the Federal Home Loan Bank of Indiana, so I'm on the IT side of things, where I focus on databases and data warehousing.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay,
So I'm an IT nerd.
okay. So I could probably learn a little bit from you because I do IT for the Army. So
Okay,
I do
nice.
I don't even know what you want to call it, like tier one, like creating accounts in Active Directory and a lot of reimaging computers and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Okay. So yeah. So we'd call that, from like our perspective, kind of like the support desk or the help desk, in terms of creating the accounts and, hey, I'm locked out of my account and
Yep,
whatnot. So yeah.
that's my life. Yep. Yep. Help desk. I work at a schoolhouse right now. So we have um it's a schoolhouse for like within the military. If someone wants to like switch jobs, they have to like go to like reclass school and change their classification. So like we
Mhm.
host a plethora of different classes for people to change their jobs. As well as we offer some senior leadership courses. So if you want to in the military, you have to like go to like a certain school to get your next promotion.
Uh-huh.
So like we host that as well, and I do
Okay.
the IT piece.
Gotcha. Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, don't mind.
yeah.
But for the bank, so you're from Indiana or
No, so I actually grew up in Panama City, Florida.
okay,
Um, yeah, so I went to school there. I graduated high school there. I went to the local state college, the Gulf Coast State College, in Panama City,
okay,
while I was working for a company, Sally Mae, who does student loans. So they essentially did like a tuition reimbursement program while I was, so right out of high school. So actually, I have a long kind of story. Out of high school, I played sports. Then I realized I wasn't going to go much farther beyond the college level, so I stopped playing. I didn't go to school. I ended up joining a band. I play guitar, so
oh
did
cool,
that. Yeah, I did that for a little while, and then I realized, just hanging out with my best buds, crammed in a van, going from bars and in different towns playing, wasn't really financially a sound decision. And
hmm
I ended up getting a part-time job, or not, it was full-time, but a temp job at Sally Mae. I'm just answering the phones and creating student loans, and that became a permanent position. And I took advantage of their tuition reimbursement program and went to school, while I kind of worked my way up the corporate ladder there.
okay,
And then I found myself. I took a position that reported out of the Indiana Sally Mae Center. So I was working remote for about a year and a half or so, and then decided to move up here in 2009. So that's
mm,
my wife and I have been here since 2009. So I worked for Sally Mae about 7 or 8 years total, and then I moved over to the Federal Home Loan Bank, and I've been there for almost 11 and a half years now.
okay, wow. So how long have you? So you're in Indian. You started in not California, Florida,
Mhm.
and then you moved up to Indiana. And then when did you decide? When you switched from college sports, was that kind of when you started to get into bodybuilding?
Um, no, I was working out. I wouldn't call it bodybuilding. I actually did, before that, I actually started doing triathlons.
Wow,
So I was doing
that's
the running,
different.
the swimming, the biking. And then I started having I can't remember if it was knee or ankle problem, one or the other first. And then I started kind of changing the way I ran, and then I started bugging the other, like my knee or my ankle. And I
Mm,
realized, okay, I can't keep doing this. And I'm only 5'6", so I don't have a long stride. I don't have, it's just the ground and pound on my knees and my ankles for running. So I was like, all right, well, at least I can work it out.
mhm.
And I already had a decent base from playing baseball and football. I mean, I wasn't big, but I've always been stocky and wide.
Okay.
And had decent legs. I was a catcher for baseball up through college. So, so I got into the gym and I just kind of made that my daily thing. And then I didn't really know, in Florida, I didn't really know anybody that competed, at least at the gyms that I was at. I knew there were bodybuilders around, but I didn't know anybody. I didn't know how to get into that. When I moved to Indiana, the gym I joined, there were several guys there that were into competing.
Okay.
Another guy relatively close to my age who actually had a coach, and that's kind of how it all started. I saw him kind of get in shape for a show, and I reached out to his coach, which is currently my coach still. And, it went from there. It was kind of okay, I'd like to try this one time. And that one time became, okay, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Once I got on stage, it was, okay, I love this.
Okay. Was that in 2015? Was that like your first official show?
No, 2000. So I started prepping in 2012 for my first show, and which was going to be the Indianapolis Championships. And about 3 or 4 weeks out, I tore my bicep tendon. Yeah, and so that set me back just a bit. 2013, my son was born, so I took, I didn't want to try to start dieting, being 2014. So December of 2013 or January of 2014 is when I started my official prep and did my first show in June of 2014. Where I took, and then that was I did the Indianapolis where I took third in my weight class. And then 2 weeks later, I did the Indiana State where I won my weight class. Wow. And that was kind of when I was like, third in my first show, first on my second show 2 weeks later. I was like, maybe I'm pretty good at this, and let me keep trying. And the judges gave me good feedback. They said, hey, you have national potential. Keep working. And so that's what I did. 2015, came back a little bit. Still a middleweight, so I'm still started as middleweight at the bottom end of top of the middleweights in 2015. Went to junior nationals, back up. I did the Indianapolis Championships again, won my class. Went to junior nationals. I took 5th in my class that year.
Yep.
2016, prepped for the Indiana State. This is another fun story. I got the stomach flu about 3 days out from the show. Didn't know I had the flu at the time. I just got really sick. It was actually the day I took off from work to start, water loading and everything. And
yeah,
I went and did my cardio, ran to the store, came home, started eating my breakfast, and then just got super sick. And it was one of those things that went like all day, and I'm like, I better call my coach and let him know I'm not going to make it to the gym today.
Right.
I gave him a call. I was like, I can't keep anything down. And then, so we were kind of on the fence. Do we do the show? Do we not? I was starting to get a little better, but I still wasn't holding any food. I was still really flat, but super conditioned, really dry.
Okay.
So, yeah. So we got on stage. I ended up winning my class, flat, but shredded and dry. And, didn't win the overall, and then again, like I think it was 2 or 3 weeks later, went on to junior nationals. And this is the first year going up as a light heavyweight too. So I think I was like around 180. Okay. To 183. So I put, put on 5 or 6 pounds of size from the prior year, or no, closer to 10, about 10 pounds.
Wow. In a year?
Yeah. So from 15 to 16. So I went from like 176 to about 185 on stage.
That's crazy.
And then, so junior nationals, because I had gotten the flu, I was still super shredded, and we were able to keep my food really high. My metabolism just went nuts. Right. Yeah. So we went in, I was dry, shredded, full. First call outs, got moved around quite a bit. Okay. And this was the first time I've ever experienced getting called out with 6 people at once. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it was interesting. I was in the center for a long time. And, so I was thinking, man, I got this. I was going after prejudging. We were looking at the pictures, and I was like, hey, we got this. Ended up taking 6th place. Right. Kind of a shocker. Ultimately, what happened was I just got outsized. The guys were, right at the top of the class. Right. I think 4 of the 6 of us are now IFBB pros. So it was a stacked class, for that. Yeah. That put a little bit of I don't want to say a sour taste in my mouth, but that was the first time I placed out of the top 5 since I started. So I was kind of all right, what do I do? I'll take the year off. So 2017, I took off. Tried to fill out my frame a bit more for the light heavy. 2018. Oh man, let's see what we do.
You did a bunch. GNC Classic, Junior Nats, Indiana State.
Yeah, so I did the GNC Classic, which I think was like in May.
Yep.
That one won my weight class and actually lost. So that was kind of fun. It was my coach won the overall at that one. So
that's cool.
He's a super heavy. So it was kind of the first time we'd been on stage together. Wow. So if I had to lose to somebody, it was kind of
I bet that was some cool pictures.
It was, yeah. He's it was a good time. And then went on the junior nationals, and this was one of those ones again where my metabolism kind of went crazy. My weight started dropping, and so I was like under one. I was around like 188, 3 or 4 days out, and we were like, maybe I can push down to a middleweight.
Wow.
So we tried to push me down to a middleweight. I got down to, I think I got down to like 183 is the weigh-ins, and they told me, they're like, I checked in like 3 or 4 times. I was trying to sweat it out, and they're like, if you get to 180, we'll let you in as a middle. And I got down to like the last 10 minutes of check-ins, and I was like 180. I was like, that's not going to happen.
Yep.
And that was like a 1-day turn. So that was like Friday check-in, Saturday compete. So it just couldn't fill back out very well. I mean, we were eating. He's like, at that point, I'd eaten nothing for the day. It's like, all right, go get burger and fries and cakes and donuts, just trying to do everything to fill my frame back out. And I still took I think I got 5th that year at juniors.
Yep.
So I was considering, the look. I came back at night much fuller, finally filled out for nighttime, but it wasn't enough. And that was it. In my head, I was done at that point. I was like, okay, I'm done for the year. Shut it down.
Okay.
Because that's like, I think that's June, right around Father's Day.
Yep.
Came back home, started doing the reverse diet, and I was staying super lean. My glutes were staying shredded.
Wow.
Food was high, stress was low. In my mind, I was done competing. My coach was like, "No, why don't you do the state show?" And I'm like, I don't know. I said, I tell you what, my anniversary is in July. Let me go enjoy, dinner and date with my wife, and then maybe we'll start prepping. He's like, sure. And that was like 2 or 3 weeks. So I think we basically kicked it in at 8 weeks after my anniversary. Again, food super high, stress low. We were like, if you come in as a heavyweight, you come in as a heavyweight. You light heavy. We weren't trying to make a weight class.
Okay.
Ended up, winning the overall at the state show.
Wow.
Just having no stress, no expectations. Just being in shape already. It wasn't like I was trying to diet down. So that made things really easy. I don't want to say easy. I mean, it was definitely tiring, but it was from a prep standpoint, it felt like I was just in an off season, right?
Right.
With a little extra cardio. But yeah, so that was a huge. I mean, and then again, that one I get to compete with my coach, and I beat him that time. So overall, so that was kind of a sweet feeling, right? Okay, I'm Mr. Indiana. That's a pretty big title, at least around here in the Midwest. So
yeah. I mean, when I first started bodybuilding, that was my dream, was to be Mr. Wisconsin. And then like now, I don't even know what I want to do anymore. But like, I know I want to step on NPC. So yeah, I'm with you.
And then let's see, going into 2019, we just used that as a qualification for North Americans. Mainly I picked that show for a couple of reasons. One, it's within driving distance, about 6-hour drive.
Okay.
2, in my opinion, for a pro qualifier, it's one of the harder ones.
Yeah.
You got to win your class, and then I think it's the top 3 or 4 in the overall. If I'm gonna become a pro, I want it to be pro ready. I don't want to place second and get my pro card.
And then just get like lost in that 3rd, 4th call out.
Exactly. And then nothing against anybody that turns pro in any other way. Just that's how for me, I want to push myself. And I tell people this all the time. People are like, "Oh, is your goal to turn pro?" And I say, "No, my goal is to just keep getting better." I started my first bodybuilding show when I was 28 years old. I had a family, I had a career. I had no expectation to make a living doing this. This is a hobby.
Right.
you know, something I enjoy doing, I love doing, and my family's, you know, I'm
Yeah.
lucky enough that my family puts up with it. So,
Yeah. Passion project.
you know, as long as I keep getting better, that's, you know, and I enjoy it, then
Right.
that's my goal. So, yeah, we went to juniors. From a stress standpoint, that was very, again, low stress because I weighed in like Tuesday or Wednesday and didn't compete till Saturday. So it was kind of just eat, pose, pump up, you know, walk. My wife and I walked around, you know, we were at the host hotel, so we just kind of walked around the I think Station Square, Union Station Square, whatever it's called. So it was just a nice little area for 3 or 4 days. What got me was the timing. Pre-judging starts around 8 or 9 a.m. I didn't go on stage almost like 3 p.m.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so trying to figure, and just not knowing, like, okay, hey, it's gonna be this long. So it's like, okay, do I need to eat? Should I eat? Do I need, you know, when do I start pumping up? When, you know, they send you text messages and they give you cues, but you just don't know, right? And I had no experience and no one back there with me to kind of say, oh yeah, just relax, kind of thing. So it's kind of start stress, you know, I could feel my stress levels kind of like, okay, what do I do? When do I need? So it came out very flat. Again, I think I got 7th or 6th in that one. And that was, I think, and that was a big class. I think it was like just under 30 competitors. And the format kind of threw me off too. They pulled us up in groups of like 5 or 6 at a time, put us through 2 or 3 poses, took us off the stage. Go back individual, 30 seconds, hit whatever poses you want, come off the stage. Go back on, and they do the call outs. So a little bit different format, wasn't expecting. So just kind of I call it a newbie experience. I just didn't, was flat, didn't know what to kind of expect going into it. I was happy with the placing considering those variables.
Yeah.
This year, going back to it, I know what to expect now. I know, just relax. They'll let you know when you're going to be up in plenty of time, when to start eating, when to start pumping. So
right,
a lot more comfortable this year.
Yeah. So you've confirmed that you're doing the North Americans then?
I'm definitely doing North Americans. Yeah, I'm going to do the 35 and over and the open. So
okay. Oh, okay. That's nice that they offer like multiple different types.
Yeah, and I missed so in 2018, I think I missed it by like 3 weeks because my birthday's in September. So I was like, I can only do the open. And I mean, I don't know if it's any easier. I don't want to say it's easier, but those guys are just as stacked.
Yeah, debatably, like the older you get, from what I've seen, from like the journalism side, is like the conditioning sometimes even gets better.
Yeah,
the older you get.
Sure. Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I've noticed, as I dry out, I get a much grainier look. Some people are just grainy naturally. Right. I kind of have a much smoother look until I pull all the water, and then I get this kind of gnarly grain.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the plan for this year. 2020, that was kind of the plan for 2020. Obviously, everything kind of went to crap, and I was like, okay, not knowing whether, I didn't want to commit to something and it get pushed or canceled. And so I just decided to take 2020 off completely. Which was kind of probably a smart thing anyway, because even though there was a North Americans, there was a Masters, I think I would have been stressed out, like worrying if something was going to get canceled or not.
Yeah. My show got canceled or got postponed 3 different times. It was just like a small local one. Like it got postponed like 3 different times, and I was on prep for like over 20 weeks by that point. By that time, it just kept getting pushed out, and I was like, I mean, it was good for me because it was like the first time I've ever been like that lean.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'm 6'3", so I was like 194 pounds, and I was like just dying. So, 2020 was a very interesting year, especially for competitors, for sure.
Absolutely. But this year kind of started like that for me, because the plan was to do Masters Nationals in July.
Okay.
I had, I started my prep, I think in April, May, June, about 12 weeks or just 14 weeks out. And thankfully, I think I was like 4 weeks into dieting, and I went and was like, all right, let me get the paperwork and get this going. And I saw that there was a little tiny statement that said you had to have competed within the last 12 months.
Oh.
I'm I'm like, that's new. It used to just be age-based, right? If you were 35 and over, you were automatically qualified. So I emailed the promoter. I said, hey, this I see this statement. A, is that correct? B, no one competed last year. He's like, yeah, it's a new rule that went into effect last year. And I said, well, considering no one competed last year, can that be waived? He's like, no, unfortunately, we can't waive it. So I don't know what the numbers look like this year there, but I can't imagine they were great given the state of 2020. But yeah, so that kind of pushed me off a little bit. So I was like, all right, well, I will do my qualifier for North American. So I picked the Indianapolis Championships, which was supposed to be early August. And so just kept on prepping. And I think at this point, I'm probably 8 weeks into a prep. I still haven't seen the registration posted for it yet. Like, all right, let me, I know the promoter. I was like, let me reach out to the promoter. He's like, yeah, I don't know if the show is going to happen this year. I'm having issues with the venue. I'm like, well, can you let me know? He's like, it's like the next week. He's like, yeah, it's not going to happen. And I was like, oh, great. I was like, all right, well, end of August, there's the state show, which I didn't want to do the state because I had already won that.
Right.
But Dave, this was the first year he did the Battle of the States. So it's like, okay, I'll do the Battle of the States. That works out nicely. But so yeah, it was a much longer prep than I would have normally preferred. So I think by the time I finish next week at North Americans, it'll be 20 weeks of prepping. So
wow.
Typically kind of keep that window, right? 16 max, 18 if there's a couple of shows. So it's been a long prep.
I hear you. What so what's you said your typical prep? I'm being greedy because like I'm 10 weeks out from my next show. And it's gonna be my first NPC show. So I just want to pick your brain. You said your typical prep is around like 16 to 18 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, so 14 to 16 weeks would be my normal, like if I'm just doing a show, like if I was just going to do North Americans only, I would probably say, depending on my current condition, if I didn't get too sloppy in the off season, I would, 14 weeks is more than enough. Okay. A little on the heavy side, I'll do a full 16 weeks just to, mainly that's the first 2 weeks of, okay, let me just pull all the junk I've been eating out and just see what my body does. And then go from there. I do have, knock on wood, my body does respond both ways very, very easily. It seems like if I push the calories high, I put weight on very fast. If I pull the calories just a little bit, I drop weight really fast. It responds to very minor changes. I add a little cardio, I drop weight. I pull cardio, I maintain, so it's very sensitive in terms of little changes, which is great, right? Because it doesn't require a whole lot of manipulation. I can do, okay, let's pull 100 calories and I'll drop 2 or 3, 4 pounds. And yeah. In fact, this year, from a prep standpoint, it was very, very different though. It seemed like my body was a little bit more stubborn. So the extra time may have been good. Like it wasn't initially responding as fast as it normally would have. So we ended up just kind of going a little crazy and pulling the calories real low, real early.
Oh, okay.
But with that being said, I was ready 4 weeks out from Battle of the States. Yeah. So then we started pushing, and now, like even today, I'm eating. I think I looked at the macros the other day. It's almost 4,000 calories on a week out. I mean, the week leading up to Battle of the States, I was eating a Chick-fil-A sandwich and a large fry every night, and and a muffin every day with pre and post, like half muffin pre-workout, half muffin post-workout. And that was just to keep my weight from tanking because I was hovering right around 190 and going to bed around like 197, 198. And if we didn't do the Chick-fil-A meal or if we didn't do the muffin, I would drop down to like 187, 188.
Wow.
So and this last week we haven't done the Chick-fil-A, but the calories are still roughly right around 4,000. Just added more carbs in, cleaner carbs, just to kind of we're just kind of planning to see if we get a little tighter look. Yeah. This time around. So.
And you said you were 5'6"?
Yeah, 5'6".
5'6", 175, 180 pounds.
But one night or not 193.
Oh, yeah. You said you're bigger now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's so much food.
It is. This is I call this my unicorn prep because I've never eaten this much going into a show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was because I was in shape 4 weeks early and was just kind of okay.
Right.
Now we just need to maintain or
mm-hmm.
age or what it is. My metabolism has definitely just become
wow.
Just skyrocketed. It typically get ramps up once I get under 200 pounds. My metabolism's fast, but it's very, very fast this year. And I mean, I'm not complaining. I like the foods.
What does your weight in comparison to your caloric or your calorie intake in your off season look like before you start your prep?
This year I started prep around 230.
Mm-hmm.
I peaked at like 240. But when I always dial it back before prep starts, and then so about 230 is where we started. Mm-hmm. And again, this year was a little weird because everything kind of shut down last year, and then towards the end of the year, I was just more in a maintenance mode. I wasn't trying to grow. And then I had family in town for Christmas, so I decided I was like, okay, I'll just take the time off from the gym. I took time off from the diet. Mm-hmm. I was actually started, and at the end of after Christmas, I was like in the 220s. And I said, okay, let's start getting ready for the prep. So he's like, well, let's push your weight up a bit. So we were just pushing, we pushed up from like 223 to 240 before I started a prep. Then he said, then roughly, we pushed up, pulled back just a little bit, and then like so right around 230 is where we started at.
Okay. What did your calories look like around like 230, 240?
At that weight, at 230, probably about what I'm eating now, honestly. Right around 4,000 calories, 4,500. So wow. It's crazy. Now, granted, I was eating. I had a cheat meal every week.
Right.
And that was probably a truer cheat meal where it was, going out to eat with the wife or whatever, and then a dessert and something like that. But even in my sloppiest, I don't eat a ton of junk. I tend to snack. Like I'll walk by and my son will have some, cookies. Oh, here's a cookie. Okay. And then I'm still eating my meals, but I'm eating all this junk in between. That's usually why I can drop weight. It's like if I just stop all of that, I drop 10 pounds because that's just, probably an extra 1,000 calories a day that you don't realize that you're putting in your mouth.
Right.
And again, that's not typical. That was more of a last year thing, because I was home more. If I was going to the office, I would have all my meals packed and structured and ready to go.
Right.
In fact, before everything shut down, I think I was sitting around like the mid 220s, or probably high 220s, like 228, eating almost 5,000 calories, and I still had glute striations. I still had my abs. I had everything. Probably you can go back on my Instagram and look around March of that time. You'll see the shape I was in. And,
okay.
Again, I said that was probably close to roughly 5,000 calories. That was the first time in an off season where I didn't complain about the amount of food, but it was getting hard to eat. Like I would eat. That was hard to put down.
Wow. I remember just like barely touching 3,000 calories, and like I was just so bloated. So I can't even imagine what you guys do at that echelons. Like,
yeah, I'm finding like things that I noticed if I mix my carbs in the meat, like so most of my meals now, like that are like 75 grams of carbs, I'll do like 50 grams of rice, 50 grams of carbs in rice, and then like 2 rice cakes or whatever. So that's another 25. It's just a little easier, and I don't feel as bloated, and it's kind of like almost like a palate change, right? I mean, you're eating your meat and your rice, and then here's kind of a sweet rice cake, kind of with some crunch. It helps kind of get it down. I've also used, instead of I know cream of rice is kind of the craze right now. I actually use like baby rice cereal.
Baby rice.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. It's just granulated rice. It's just finer, and you can mix it with cold water. And so I'll do like 2 scoops of whey mixed in that, like as a pre-workout meal, and then like 2 or 3 rice, whatever it is. Like, I think right now I'll do like 50 grams of the rice cereal, 2 rice cakes, and I got the half a muffin for my pre-workout meal.
Okay.
And it's just it's very light on the stomach. I don't get that bloated feeling.
Right. Yeah, that's the worst, being bloated and you're trying to work out. Like,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, so we got a good idea. What do your workouts look like? What's your idea on training philosophy?
So for most, my off season is a push pull legs, typical.
Yep.
I did this prep pull in. I kind of pulled my shoulders and arms into its own workout.
Okay.
One for more. I didn't initially. I was push pull legs rest. That was the rotation. As rather than increasing cardio, I wanted to increase just volume. So I pulled my shoulders and my arms out into its own workout. So it was kind of like a pull push, arm, shoulders, legs, rest kind of rotation. And that's basically what I've been doing this whole prep. I did just recently, I think the week before, so probably this week 3 or 4, where I'm not taking a rest day. I'm just I'll do abs, cardio, and then I kind of do a full upper body, just pump workout. Again, that to me is like my rest day. I'm not setting PRs at this point. I'm just kind of, again, pushing the blood, moving the food around, getting the glycogen pumped into the muscle.
Yep.
I figured, at this point, let's just keep burning the calories and try to come in as tight as possible.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, my off season is a typical push pull legs. I will sometimes do, like, as I start getting very stronger, I'll do like a full push rest legs rest. So 2 rest day before and after my leg day. But that's kind of, again, that's kind of as my strength just starts getting kind of scary for me.
Okay. Now, is that just because you want to give like your spine a little extra rest, or?
I need it, and I'll hit I remember telling my coach, I keep saying my coach Caleb Schwartz, the Vanilla Gorilla on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I know that one.
Yeah.
People always say like names, and I'm like, oh, okay, and I'm like, I have no idea who that is, and I feel bad.
I remember telling him, I don't know if I had started prep or not, but I was like, man, I've achieved. We've always talked about, man, if I could just make every workout feel like a leg day.
Oh my God, right?
Yeah, I kind of got to that point this off season where, man, I was just, I'd finish a back workout, and I felt like dead. I'd finish a chest workout or a push day, and I would just be dead afterwards. So it kind of got to the point where it's like, okay, I need that rest day before I hit legs again. I can do the 2 upper body, but I need a rest day. And then after legs, it's like, I need another rest day.
Yeah.
So, and that, I just kind of did the 2 lower volume, typically 2 work sets. I use the logbook. I do kind of my first work set within like the 6 to 10 rep range, usually about a 20% decrease in the weight, and then just try to get into the 11 to 20 rep range. And that was it. Move on to the next exercise. And then, I would kind of I started with like 3 or 4 movements, and then just grow the volume as my body can handle it. I mean, back and legs are probably the most volume, probably 5 movements for my back. My leg day is usually 3, like 2 big quad movements and then 1 isolation quad movement, like a lunge or a single leg press.
Yeah.
And then usually 2 hamstring movements. If my knees start bugging me, I might switch that around a little bit, do like a more of a hamstring day and then less quad. Just depends on how my knees are feeling. But yeah, keep it the volume lower. For the most part. In chest, again, I was like 2, usually an incline, a decline, and a flat style press, some sort of fly, and like a dip for kind of a tricep chest movement together. So
okay. Yeah. So we have a good idea on who Greg is in the gym, in the kitchen, and on stage. But beyond that, like, what do you do for hobbies? What are your passions?
Well, I briefly touched on, I play guitar. I started playing guitar when I was like 12 years old, and self-taught, kind of just learned by ear. Initially, I wish there was a YouTube when I started. It's amazing what's available now. Yeah, you can pretty much learn how to play any song, but I do that not nearly as much as I would like. In fact, my wife and I, our son was with his grandma today, so we actually stopped in a music store. I picked up, just looking at things I should not spend money on.
Every time I stop at a supplement store, I'm like, I could try that brand.
Yeah. But outside of that, I mean, really, it's spending time with my son, spending time with my wife. Especially my son's 8 now. He's at an age where Now it's how do I don't know what the right way to say it, but there's more interaction between the two of us, right? It's not,
Okay.
oh, look at him crawl. It's, oh, hey, man, we'll bust jokes on each other. We play video games. We're out there kicking the soccer ball, throwing the football around. It's a lot more activity. Fishing, the whole family, me, my wife, my son, we all like to go fishing.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a lot of that last year with everything being shut down.
Right.
It's kind of like one thing everybody could go do.
Yeah.
And since I was kind of getting my workouts in when I could, whenever I could find something that was open, it was usually the middle of the day. So I had the whole evening and afternoon available then. So that's kind of, but yeah, it's, we go to movies. We do, obviously, with the fall coming around, we do a lot of, we have a lot of farms up by us. So we do corn mazes and hay rides, and there's this big I don't know what you call it. It's almost like a historical museum kind of reenactment place here called Connor Prairie. Every October. So since he was a baby, my coach, his son is roughly exactly 1 month older than my son. So they're the same age, but we usually meet up and we do the hay ride at this big festival they have, where like they have this headless horseman that will chase you on the hay ride and stuff. So
oh wow.
Yeah, I mean that's when it's cooler. We're outside doing a lot of activities. In the summer, I'm a little bit more indoors until the sun goes down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just a family man for the most part. Bodybuilding, as you know, is very selfish, time consuming. It takes a lot of time.
Yep.
Very thankful that my wife puts up with the amount of time that I do step away. So we try to make up, or I try to make up that a lot of that time afterwards. In fact, we're going to Florida in October. That's where we're both from. We got a condo out on the beach.
Okay.
So it's kind of fun now because we can go down there. Even though I have my parents are down there, we do the touristy type of things now.
Right.
Stay on the beach.
Oh, I love that. I love that stuff. Touristy stuff is so much fun.
Yeah.
People hate on it, but
no, I mean, when you got a family, that's just that's what you do. I mean, go. I just looked up today. They opened up this new kind of like amusement park. Yeah, it's like an amusement park, golf course, go-karting. Mm-hmm. I'm like super excited. I was like, oh, this is new, so I'm excited to try that. They have they have another golf course that's like they call the Grand Maze, so it's a big walk-through maze.
Oh, okay.
Plus a golf course, so you could spend the day there doing the 18 holes of golf plus a big walk-through maze. The condo that we're in is right across, kind of like a mini SeaWorld. It's called Gulf World. Okay. So we'll go to that and watch the dolphin show and the seal. Spend a day there and just beach and pool and. So I'm really looking forward to that because it's been a while since I've taken a vacation. My wife and son, they've gone down a few times during spring break the past couple of years. I've been saving my time for shows or just couldn't get away from work. So this is right. I'm more excited that it's like, oh, I get a vacation.
Okay. Yeah. Any plans on going to the Olympia or is October more blocked off for the family?
October's blocked off. I've actually never been to the Olympia. I've been to the Arnold. And it's funny that the more I even found this when I played baseball and football. I didn't really care to go watch other people play. Right. Saying, I don't really care too much about going and watching the Olympia. I mean, it's exciting. I'll stream it and watch it, through via stream. Just same, yeah. But I mean, especially now with my, it's just like I'd rather spend the time with my family and do something. Yeah. Than go do more bodybuilding stuff. Right.
No, I'm in the same boat with you. I guess I'm just I'm turning a page in my chapter where it's like the more interviews I do, the more people ask me like, hey, are you going to this show? Hey, are you going to this show? I'm like, wasn't planning on it, but like especially with like the way the ad revenue works, like the way the channel's growing, like that stuff's going to pay for my tickets pretty soon here. Sure. So, that's great. Yeah. If I show up there with my camera and I've got like a handheld microphone I can pass between, like I just do my interviews in person. Mm-hmm. Like that's what I'm planning with like do you follow the 212 at all? Yeah. Okay, so I know Antonio Burton and Kareth Bajo, and I mean pretty much everyone who's had an interview with me on the channel that's a 212 guy. They're like they would love to have a meetup at the Olympia.
Yeah. Speaking of Kareth, man, he looks amazing. I've been watching him for a few years, and I'm blown away with like how he came in this year. Just like, whoa. I messaged him. I was like, man, you look fantastic compared to like 2 years ago. He's really transformed his physique. So
yeah, no, I'm very happy for him.
Yeah.
Very excited to get to meet him in person in October.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, being an Indiana boy, I got, Derek Lunsford from Indiana. I competed with him when he was a welterweight.
Wow.
At the 2015 Indianapolis. Nathan Epler, he's doing it. I never competed with him, but it's just somebody I've known around, see him at the Indiana shows and watched him turn pro. So it's pretty neat to see, like these local guys kind of hitting the Olympia stage. It's like, whoa, that's my back door.
Right. It's not that far out of the realm of possibility.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Do you know off the top of your head, anyone else that's competing in your class for the North Americans that have announced it?
I do not know personally. There's been a couple of guys on Instagram that, we've ended up following each other. I think just because we've seen that, hey, we're both light heavyweights, but nobody I know, which is kind of exciting. I'd rather not know any.
Okay.
I'd rather go in blind. Because, I mean, you got to think everybody's good at that level. Yep. Everyone's won an overall or at least won their class, but most of them have won an overall at some time. I'd rather just not have to worry. Like, I mean, you can't control who shows up, so
true.
It's easier if I don't know. Then it's just I'm focused on me rather than thinking about, oh man, that guy looks really good, and he's probably
right.
He's probably 210 and going to cut down and make weight, and I'm only one. It's like, I don't worry about it. I do know another Indiana guy. I don't know if he's a light heavy or a middleweight. Alex Mitch.
Okay.
He kind of keeps quiet, but he always comes in great conditioning. He's placed top 5 or 6 in national shows. And he keeps improving each year. That's why I don't know if he's a light heavy. He hasn't said what weight class he is, but I'll stand on stage with him before. He would definitely give me a run for money if he is a light heavy. If he's a middle, then that's fine too. But trying to think, nobody I know, especially in the 35 and over. I haven't seen any pictures in the 35, so that's a complete mystery to me. But again, like I said, I'd rather not think about it and worry about it. It's just
right.
Who shows up is there.
From the athlete side, you guys are just like, there's no benefit for me knowing who's going to be there, because I think you said it really well. Like, everyone's won their show or at least their class to get to that national level show, so everyone's going to be in that stirring pot. But for me, I would love if we could normalize some sort of like hashtag system coming into these big shows. Like if we could treat these like an IFBB show for like the journalism side, because there's no promotion for these athletes. It's just a show. Yeah. So like if there's something that I can do to put some light on these athletes coming into these shows, like that's the intent of this channel. Yeah. Well, one of the many intents of this channel.
So I know from like my post, I typically I hashtag NPC North Americans, and I do light heavyweight in mine.
Okay.
Probably like 99% of them, depending on what the post is. Those 2 tags will be in most of my posts.
Okay.
So he kind of calls out, hey, I'm doing this show, and it's light heavyweights.
Okay. That's a good idea. I never think about like which weight class people are doing, because I guess I'm still not in the know on that.
Right. Yeah, I've seen a lot of competitors. I've seen a lot of heavyweights and a lot of super heavyweights. But I have not seen too many people post light heavyweight. So I don't, it's a tough or middle or light or welter. Everything's been super or heavy.
Yeah.
Of course, being North Americans, we're going to get competitors from Canada. We're going to get competitors from Mexico too. So
right.
It's going to be it's always stacked. It's always a good. I think it was like roughly 30 competitors in 2019 in the light heavy, so that's a long line. It was
stacked. Like I would like to go to a national level show. I think would be something I'd like to do in 2022 is maybe hire a cameraman and go and do either the USA's or, because I'm in California right now,
Okay.
So whichever one's closer, I'd have to figure it out.
Yeah. It depends on where they hold it, right? I mean, he was in Vegas, but they moved it to Arizona this year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Vegas would be good because like that's where my show, Austin Carr, his show in Vegas in 10 weeks. That's the one I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Hopefully. God, I've never done an NPC show, so it's just like I gotta see like how the weight comes off. Like I'm around 230 right now. The local show I did, I was 194, and like I still feel like I could have lost another 5 or 6 pounds.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I always feel like it's really hard to predict where you're going to be. I always predict I'm going to be heavier than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I hit the weight, I'm like, I could be tighter.
Yeah.
So it's one of those like, man, it's hard to tell until you get there.
Yeah.
Like where, I probably could suffer a little more and be a little bit more shredded. And,
right.
and as you know, it's a fine balance though. I mean, if I come in tighter, I might be a little flatter. If what are the judges looking for? Are they looking for a bubbly, look? Are they looking for a shredded look or that happy medium? And
yeah, unfortunately, I'm not at that level, or I'm not that point in my career where like I can play that game because like all I can do is come in as conditioned as I can. Like I don't have like that crazy 3D look on me yet. Right. Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited though. It's gonna be fun. I know Austin said it would be cool if I did his show, so I'm going to do that. And then Charles Curtis, he's coaching a guy who's going to go and do the show. So it sounds like all three of us are going to meet up after the show. So
nice. Okay.
That'll be cool to meet some of like. That's what I'm so excited for, is like to meet these athletes. That's like, it's cool to like advocate for them online, but to like actually get to meet people and like just see how big these people really are. Yeah. Like that's. Well,
it's
cool.
Amazing, like I mean, I wouldn't call them best friends, but I've made really good friends with people that you start talking to or you follow leading into a show, and then you meet them backstage, and they're just down to earth, doing the same thing you're doing.
Right.
And super cool. I mean, I've met crossed all different weight classes, and again, people that I tend to follow or follow me. They'll come up to me like, "Oh, hey, I follow you on Instagram." I'm like, "Oh, thank you."
Cool.
Cool. Yeah, I appreciate it, and you end up. You meet them in person, and it just kind of almost solidifies that connection, and then you end up following them for their span of time. And one guy, actually, they mixed our names up one year with our tags, so we got the wrong tags initially.
Oh,
Stephen Wayne, like Waine, and I was Greg Wayne, and they just heard Wayne, and they handed me the wrong tag. Oh, and I'm like, I got out, and I'm like, wait, this is Stephen. I'm not Stephen. And then we ended up talking backstage, and now he's an IFBB pro. He won his pro card, I think, in 2019. But we kept up with each other since 2016, and it's just it's just those little connections that you make that
right.
That to me is almost priceless, right? I mean, whether you're bodybuilding or not, you're still wondering, hey, what's that guy doing now? Or if they stay active, you can kind of see what they're doing.
That's the big one, is like, are they staying active online? Is like, especially from like my foxhole, or from my point of view, like I'm not at these shows, or at least not yet. It's like, it's kind of hard to tell if someone's not posting something like what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Greg. I really appreciate you opening up and sharing with the fans who you are beyond the stage. That's one of the big focuses of this channel. Did you have anything to plug before we?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I probably would not be competing this year if it wasn't for my sponsor, Muscle Feast. They're an Ohio-based company. They've been around. I forget. And
I've seen them on Amazon. So like when I saw you wearing their shirt, I was like, oh, I remember that brand. Yeah.
So I started using them. We have a nutrition store here in Indy, Cutting Edge Nutrition, who's the only retail store that carries their products.
Okay.
And they do that on purpose. They didn't want their stuff in retail stores initially. They ended up building that relationship and getting the products in. But they started out of their house. Their son competed, and they were spending tons of money on supplements, and like, we could formulate this stuff probably better. And so I didn't get introduced to them until about 2013, I think. To them, when I mean their products. But so around that time, so I think by that time they were already in kind of like their first warehouse. But yeah, I've been using their products since 2013. I want to say it was 2016. I started having conversations with their marketing director at the time, and things were looking good. We were talking about a sponsorship, and we went back and forth, a couple of phone calls, some ideas, how would this work? And it ultimately came back to, hey, we're just not quite big enough to sponsor an athlete yet.
Right.
We'll keep you in consideration. So that's kind of, I was like, yeah, no problem. I understand. I like your products. I mean, I'm still going to use them. It's not
right. Regardless, I'm still going to buy your stuff.
Yeah, right. I still, there's things that they do. I mean, obviously there's some stuff that they don't carry that I've used, and I've pitched these ideas to them. I was like, hey, these are the things I use that you don't have.
Yep.
I think you could do it just as good, and they take those ideas and run with them. But yeah, so in like 2019, end of 2019, March of 2000 or October 2019, their then marketing director reached out to me and said, hey, I know we've had some conversations with you. We see you're not sponsored with anybody at the time, moment. Would you be interested in now working with us? We're at a point, where we have a couple of athletes and we'd like to bring you on. Let's talk. We need some details, and
right.
Ended up signing with them, and they've treated me like family since. Sean and Shelly, the owners, they brought me and my whole family out to Ohio for a photo shoot. Took us out to dinner, put us in a nice hotel to make sure we were all taken care of. I did the photo shoot. If I need something, I just say, hey guys, can you help me out with this, or I need this, or so they take really good care of me. In turn, I promote the products. So if they have a booth, at the Arnold or whatever, obviously I'll come out and work it. That's kind of the deal. But I can't speak highly of it. And it's not, their products are super clean. They're all WADA approved, so Olympic athletes can use them. They're in-house quality tested, third-party quality tested. Their protein powders, stevia sweetened. They're getting ready to release, I don't know if I can say this or not, but they're getting ready to release a new product line, which most everything's going to be stevia sweetened.
Oh, cool.
So no artificial sweeteners and anything. So yeah, super clean products, really great line, great people. Again, helped me, through my shows. So again, I wouldn't be doing probably these shows without their support. So.
Right.
And then, just my suit maker, Suit by Amy. She's local Indiana. I've been wearing her suits since 2015. She's usually backstage there to help if you need anything, but she's a phone call away or an email away if you need something. She's always taking care of me. So Suits by Amy, can't go wrong with her stuff. And I even believe Kareth uses her too. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
And of course, my family, my coach. We've talked to Caleb Swartz, Bill Gorilla. I've been working with him since 2012. He's learned my body. We've both learned my body, and we keep getting better. So
yeah, that's the important part. Like a lot of people just rush the coaching and they don't stick with somebody long enough for them to understand how their body reacts.
Right. I mean, he knows what my off season looks like. He knows, and there's periods of time in the off season where I'm not directly working with him. I'm just doing my own thing. And
right.
Sometimes last year before things shut down, I was like, I want to keep you on for the full year. I want to see what we can do. And then things kind of shut down. He's like, just go enjoy life. You're not training, we'll pick things back up when everything kind of comes back to normal. And that's what we did.
Right.
But like I said, we've been friends beyond coaching. Like, so our kids are the same age. We do things together, outside of the gym, outside of the client, coach relation. Our families hang out together. He's going to be in Pittsburgh with us. So yeah, obviously, big thanks to him. Big thanks to my wife and my son for just again allowing me to get away with the amount of time that I put into this. So. Right.
Okay. All right, Greg. I appreciate you coming on, man. Congratulations on State of the Battle of the States.
Battle of the States.
Battle of the States.
Year for this show, yeah.
Yeah, congratulations on winning that. We look forward to seeing you at the North Americans in, was it less than a week?
5 days. I'll be on stage in 5 days. Yeah, I leave Tuesday morning.
Wow. All right, man. Keep us in the loop. Tag me on Instagram. I'll repost whatever. But for the fans that are listening, Thank you so much for watching another installment on the Bodybuilding News Network. All of Greg's sponsorships, affiliates, links, everything is going to be in the comment sections below, as we always do. If you enjoyed this style of content, consider liking the video and let us know down below who you would like to see next on the channel. But that's it. My name's Sanch, your host, and Greg Wayne. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.